All right, everyone, in this lesson, we're going to be talking about topic 3.3, which is the short-run aggregate supply curve. And in this lesson, we're going to define what that curve is. We're going to explain the slope of the curve, as well as the determinants of the curve. And finally, we'll talk about how a movement along the curve will show that there's a relationship between price level and output and unemployment in the short run. Okay, so first what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the definition for the short-run aggregate supply curve. And what this curve does is this shows the maximum amount that suppliers are willing and able to produce at any given price level. So I'll write this down. Shows the maximum amount that suppliers are willing and able to produce at any given price level. At any given PL for price level. And so what this essentially is saying is that this shows that there's a relationship between the price level and the quantity of goods and services that are supplied. And this will be a direct relationship or a positive relationship. So my short-run aggregate supply curve is going to be an upward sloping curve, just like your normal supply curve, and this will be SRAS. And so if we have, I don't know, if we have like a point down here with really low price level, we will have not too many or not too much produced in terms of our GDP will be pretty low. But if prices increase, let's call this point A, if prices increase, price levels increase across the economy, we are going to have more goods and services produced. So this will be like Y1, and this will be PL and PL1, let's say. So higher price levels, more will be produced. The reason for that, there's two main reasons, I should say, as well as a third one that I have written down here, misperceptions. But the first two are by far the most important ones, and they're the ones that you're probably going to see most likely on any sort of assessment. So the first one's going to be sticky wages, and this is the idea that wages are slow to change, and this mainly occurs due to contracts, actually. So the idea of sticky wages is that wages are slow to change. Slow to change, and this is mainly due to contracts and the minimum wage laws. Mainly due to contracts and minimum wage laws. The other one, and this is something that we've been noticing in the economy recently, is that prices can be slow to change because it's expensive to change them. And we're seeing some prices that are often slow to change actually starting to change now because inflation currently is so high. So I'll write down here, sticky prices is this idea that prices are also slow to change. They get stuck. Because changing prices can be expensive, and that's this idea of menu costs. Changing prices sometimes it takes labor, it takes new materials to printing off new signs or printing new menus, hence the idea of menu cost. But it can be labor intensive and difficult and expensive to change your prices. So this idea is called menu cost, the cost to change your prices, menu costs. The third one is that suppliers might be slow to recognize unanticipated inflation. So what they might do, suppliers might see that the prices are low, and then they might not recognize that there is inflation throughout the economy where prices are rising. So their prices have stayed low. There's an increase in demand for their products, and they start producing more. But it can take some time. And so with higher prices, they start producing more. Same thing with sticky wages and sticky prices. Let's go with sticky wages. If price levels start rising, wages are stuck at their previous levels, and so there's maybe more profits for businesses, so they start producing more. Sticky prices is a similar idea where price levels are going up throughout the economy. One individual business's prices might be fixed, or stuck because it's expensive to change them. And so their prices have stayed low, whereas throughout the economy, price levels are rising. Their prices are lower, more demand for their goods, they start producing more. And the same thing can happen going the other way. So when things are slow to change, there is an opportunity for increased profits, and so they produce more. So again, there's a positive relationship between inflation and output. And as you've learned, output and unemployment are inversely related, so we could say that there's an inverse relationship between inflation and unemployment. Those are the reasons why my short-run aggregate supply curve is going to be upward sloping. What I want to do finally is talk about the determinants of the short-run aggregate supply curve and how they can shift. And so there's four main ones. The first one is a change in commodity prices. I just want to define commodity really quickly here. This is going to be a standardized input sold in bulk quantities. Standardized input sold in bulk quantities. Sold in bulk quantities. There we go. So what's going to happen here is if the price of commodities goes up, I'm going to give myself some space here. The price of commodities, if the price of commodities increases, that's going to be a cost for a business. So costs will be going up, which means the quantity supplied will go down. So across the economy, that would lead to the short run aggregate supply curve going down. And again, this can happen the other way. I'll say and vice versa. So if costs are going up, short run aggregate supply will go down. And this is similar to the idea of nominal wages. And again, nominal wages are wages that are often fixed temporarily because of sticky wages. We have this up above. So nominal wages are fixed temporarily until contracts get renegotiated often. If nominal wages increase, let's say, if nominal wages are going up, again, that's a cost for a business. So costs are going up, which means the quantity that's supplied will go down, which means the short run aggregate supply will also go down. So these first two are really related to cost of the business. If price of inputs, price of wages are increasing, quantity supplied and short run aggregate supply will go down. And I'm going to write vice versa here. If the opposite happens, short run aggregate supply will go up. The third one and the fourth one are a little bit different. And so the third one talks about changes in productivity, and which is something that's going to be really important in our economy. If productivity increases, short run aggregate supply will increase. If productivity decreases, short run aggregate supply will decrease. And finally, one that is maybe the most difficult to understand, but might be the most important one, is changes in expectations about future inflation or future price levels. And I really want to stress the importance of this one. If inflation is higher than expected, so I'm going to write this, if inflation is higher than expected, workers will seek out higher wages. And I should say this, higher nominal wages. Let me fix this. Higher nominal wages. This will lead to the short run aggregate supply curve going down. And this is very, very similar to this idea back up here in number 2. Nominal wages change, short run aggregate supply will change. If workers notice inflation is lower than they expected, this is what they'll do. They will accept lower wages. Lower nominal wages, let me fix that. Lower nominal wages. And that will lead to the short run aggregate supply curve increasing. And so this will be very, very important to see how the economy can self-adjust in the long run, which we'll discuss later on in Unit 3. But these are the determinants of short-run aggregate supply, as well as the reasons why short-run aggregate supply curve is upward sloping. And again, this will show us what can be made or what quantities will be made at each different price level. We'll see you next time.